Alrighty, everyone. Just a little update here. I'm back. I did lose my Summoner's War account, which hopefully I'll get that back. I have a support ticket pending and all that good stuff, but it's been about 2 months, so I'm kind of like, meh, you know. Anyway, so this is going to be Skylanders. It's by Come To Us. Same thing, pretty much same company that makes Summoner's War, but it just got released. It dropped, I think, 3 days ago. This is the third day, I believe. I pre-registered and all that good stuff, so got lots of good crystals or mana gems or whatever they're called. But I'm just going to do a little bitty detailed here about just one aspect of the game. It's not really like a quick start guide or anything like that. It's just something that I noticed, something that as I started playing the game, I just saw this and was like, hey, this is really neat, this is really cool, and I thought it would be a good topic to discuss. So, in the game and everything, of course, you have your Skylanders, which are your people that you're gonna, have fight for you and all this good stuff. However, right here is called the Distorted Dimensions. It's basically dungeons. So you have a couple different modes. Your adventures are like your campaign. Get through them. I still haven't finished mine yet. I gotta finish my my Shrine of Light, and then I'll be done with that. You also have your quests, which you can do. The quests give you lots of free stuff, just as part of like, rewards, etc. Blah blah blah. Like right now, I'm on quest 16. If I complete the Realm of Souls 3 times, which I'm gonna do as soon as the game restarts at like 2 or something, 12, I don't know. But whenever it rolls over, so that way the Realm of Souls, which is your daily thing that you can complete, I'm gonna finish that. So I'm gonna get lots of free stuff using that. Let me see here. There we are. So, my apologies. So, you also have your missions. Missions are just daily stuff, blah, blah, blah. If you get into the game, they'll tell you that. You get your daily, weekly, compilation, power-ups, adventures, blah, blah, blah. Everything in any aspect of the game, you'll pretty much get rewarded for. I already finished all the events for this, like, upstart thing. I've already completed all the events. So, this was just something that I was going through. I've kind of hit a wall. My progress has stopped. It's now just really a kind of grind. So, just like in Summoner's War, the first thing that you'll get access to is you'll get access to one of the dungeons. They have up to 12 or 10 different levels, 10 different floors. The one that you'll gain access to that is always going to be available is the Beast Labyrinth. You'll get the Wailing Labyrinth after you meet a certain requirement. I think you have to get so far into the story. But all the rest of the dungeons, which are just elemental dungeons, like Life is for the Life Skylanders and things like that, they'll rotate around and everything. But you'll get the Beast Labyrinth before anything. And that's the one that I'm going to focus on right now. The reason being is that at level 10, right here, I don't have it unlocked, of course. So I'm going to do a little updated version once I get enough runes and I farm enough. I just thought, hey, since it's new, might as well just go ahead and do this. But the air element is what level 10 will be. So if we go down here to level 5, of the 5th floor of the Beast Labyrinth, these will drop different runes and blah 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 and all that stuff. But as you can see, the people that I'm using, the 3 main people, are going to be my team for level 10. The reason being is that this is what I wanted to go over. These 3 pretty much have an elemental attribute, so that means that in terms of this, they'll take, where is it? Right there. When they have the superior element, it'll increase damage, accuracy, effect accuracy. So damage is, of course, damage. Accuracy is the ability to hit. Effect accuracy is your effects will go off. So your effects will hit and trigger. Debuffs, removing buffs, things like that. Those are effect accuracy. They'll increase by 20% when attacking this element. And then the enemies will actually do 20% decrease in all those statistics. So, of course, if we go over here to air, magic and fire are superior to air. So that means they're going to deal more damage to air. Air is going to deal less damage to fire and magic. So obviously, these are pretty good starting out. Now, the Ruins Guardian, which is right here, that I'm highlighting. The Ruins Guardian is actually the boss for the level. This will also be the one at level 10. It also has 2 crystals which accompany it. They're called Watcher Stones. One will provide a crit rate up. The other one is a defense up. At level 10, I'm not certain, but I have it covered regardless of what it would be. Whether it be a buff or a debuff, because it looks like this specific boss relies on the crystals or the Watcher Stones in order to actually buff it / debuff your characters. So, with the Watchers, the Watcher Stone and the Ruins Guardian, what I have set up is the Ruins Guardian is going to do as follows. He slams down an axe with blow, blah blah blah. Beam does an AoE to everybody. Consecutive attack swings an axe twice to slash all of the enemies and gain attack up, so he's going to buff himself. Wrath is he gains drain, so he's going to gain life for all the damage that he deals. And then, of course, Guardian of the Maze level 1 attacks everything in the vicinity to protect the ancient relics. So if you kill the relics, blah, 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 he's going to attack you, etc., etc. Which is fine. All that's good. We're not prioritizing the runes. This team is actually to prioritize the boss. Reason being, I'm going to open up Ember. Ember is the only 5-star that I've gotten. You can do this with anybody. I would suggest somebody, if you want to utilize this combo, somebody with deflected damage on them. If you can get an AoE of deflect damage, or even the other option that I did have was a heal down and just do chip damage. You can also do diminish. So Ember's slot can be taken up by a lot of different people. It's really up to you. Diminish does continuous damage. Deflect damage just reflects 30% of the damage back at the enemy. And then what was the last one? Heal down. That's a debuff that you would put on the boss, so that way they're not gaining health back. So right there, drain, it gains health back for all the damage he does. The reason that I'm using Ember's deflect damage is to essentially negate that drain. So that way, whenever, she reflects that damage back, he may gain a percentage, but she's going to reflect 30% of whatever he dealt to her. The reason being that this actually works is that, of course, he's not always going to target her. He does have an AoE ability and a single target ability, but we'll get into that in a minute. Spyro right here, which is the other piece to this combo, he actually has, in sprint charge, he charges at an enemy with the highest defense, doesn't matter, but he grants damage share on all allies for 1 turn. So that means all the damage that would be dealt to that single person or whatnot is now going to be split among all allies. Because he puts damage share on Ember, Ember will then deflect 30% of the damage that she takes back. So even if he doesn't target with his single ability, the deflect damage, if you get sprint charge to go off right before that, then he'll just have to deal damage to her regardless, and she reflects 30% of that damage, which is quite nice. But the other part that I have is I have Deja Vu. Deja Vu is going to be our support. Spyro is a tank, and Ember is obviously the offense. For the offense, like I said, it's versatile. You can put Diminish, which is continuous damage. You can put Heal Down just to negate the healing, or you can do this one, which is what I'm doing because she's my 5-star that I got and everything like that. But it's going to be deflect damage. So with this one, Deja Vu, is going to be our support that has 2 uses. The first one is with Space-Time Shot. Deja Vu is going to fire her projectile, blah, 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 but she decreases all buff counts by 1. So all of those buffs that the boss is getting for 1 turn is now going to be reduced by 1. So if he only has attack up for 1 turn, of course I can buff this skill and everything, which I'm planning on it. But for her skills and everything, it can decrease the buff count plus 1, decreases all buff counts on all enemies. So she's pretty good later on, but if I get her to level 4, then she'll reduce all buff counts by at least 2, which is what I'm hoping for. And if I awaken her, the ability has the 50% chance to go again. So she'll effectively, if I awaken her, she'll decrease all buff counts by 2, and then if I get that skill to level 4, she'll decrease all by 4, should it go off again. But 2 should suffice, everything like that. The second ability that she has that I'm going to take her in with is Universal Time. The reason being is it holds up an hourglass to decrease all debuff counts by 1 on all of my allies. So if, for instance, level 10, one of the crystals isn't a buff crystal, or one of the Watcher Stones isn't a buff Watcher Stone, then what will happen is if it's a debuff instead, it'll put a debuff on all of my guys, and then I will be able to get rid of that debuff in no time. Because it seems, as far as the pattern has gone for all these, that's only a 1 or 2 debuff or buff. So Deja Vu will be able to effectively get rid of all buffs and debuffs. Also, the second part of this ability is that she heals all allies in proportion to her max HP. So I'm just going to make her tanky. I'm going to put some HP runes on her and make sure that she can hit with effect accuracy. That's what it is. I think they're like focus runes or something. Let me check here. I don't have any on her yet, but I have just energy runes. So once I get a little bit better runes, I'll be able to put those on her. But this is essentially maximizing what I have, and just allowing for me to be able to defeat the boss a lot easier than if I was just trying to push through with pure raw power. This effectively counteracts everything that the boss would throw at me, or potentially throw at me since I'm not there yet. But I'll give an update after I've actually gone back through and done the 10th floor and everything. Everything's all good. I think I've covered everything. Ember's just an attack, Spyro's my defense, and then I have my support for Deja Vu. They'll all get the elemental effect bonus. Spyro will be able to share damage from any attacks, any single attacks, to Ember, which will then deflect the attack 30% back of whatever damage she takes. She also has some really good abilities, like an attack that's amazing. It does so much damage. Samurai combo, the lava impact is what I'm taking with me. But, you know, I may choose to go, you know, supernova. I'm not sure. I'm pretty much certain that I'm going to take lava impact. But maybe samurai combo once I awaken her, because it gets so much more stuff. It's just like her bread and butter. But for right now, I'm focusing on the people that I can farm more easily, like Spyro and Deja Vu. They're the people that I'll be able to get more, basically level up, power up, things like that for. And she's just pretty much my default go-to for attack mons right now because she's really good. She's my 5-star. I like her so far, and she works really well with Spyro. This whole team should be able, in theory, as long as I get the right runes, to go to 10 on the Beast Labyrinth and be able to destroy the beast without having to focus Watcher Towers or anything like that. But alternatives, if you want to just go with some support that can remove a debuff, any tank that you really want that can give a damage reduction or a damage boost to your people. The key conditions to defeating the 10th floor is you can use any element, but like I said, if you have an elemental bonus, it's much better, it's much easier. So I would suggest an elemental bonus, but if you don't want that, or if you don't have that, then you can just pick anybody who does a couple of those things. I'll be able to update and make a more finite list once I get to the 10th floor and actually get to check it out. But for right now, I would just say be prepared for any debuffs, be prepared to get rid of any buffs on him, and have some sort of way to either knock him or the towers out while surviving at the same time. So that's what I have here. Spyro helps me survive, Deja Vu helps me heal and gets rid of those buffs and debuffs, and then I just have my pure raw damage in terms of Ember and everything. So that's my strategy for it. You could go Diminish instead of Ember and have your support and your defense as well. You go, because Diminish will do continuous damage over time. I saw Hex, which is really good. She's nice. Hex is kind of cool. I was thinking about her as like a damage over time build, but I have a few other mons with her and she's for a different episode, but that is a good mon that you could or Skylander, whatever you want to call it, that you could utilize. I'm thinking about utilizing her in a different aspect of the game, different gameplay, maybe in a different episode or different video. I'll talk about her more. I haven't really decided what I'm going to use her for, but she's definitely going to be in PvP. She's going to be on a chip damage team, so that's where I'm going to put her. But for right now, I think that pretty much wraps it all up. I've gotten my message across. Beast Labyrinth, a little tutorial, tell you exactly what you need. I'll get an update to you in another revised video after everything's all good. But for right now, that's just something. I do like this game a lot. Hopefully I can keep this account and it doesn't get stolen, which would be good. Sorry, a little salty about that. But everything should be fine. I'll keep on updating when I can about this game. It's really fascinating. It's got a lot more elements than on Summoner's War. It's a little bit lighter paced. Of course, it doesn't have nearly as many mons. And since I'm starting at the beginning of the release, when everybody else is, I'll still be at the same baseline. Of course, luck of the draw will say whether or not I'm got more mons or not, but it's really how you utilize them that makes the point. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good one.